I can't see shit.
Hello, everybody. You just heard JD saying he can't see what's going on, but don't worry. We're all here for you for New Comic Book Day. This is the Comic Core Unlimited, the crew that brings you, like last week, great interviewers with people creating comics. We bring you hot reading list books, tell you what's really good out there, what you should be checking out. We are the Comic Core's New Comic Book Day show. If you don't know the Comic Core, I don't know how you found this channel. But we are the Wednesday show. You have the Tuesday show with the Golden Guys. Monday story is Story Comic Club. You got Outside the Lines Thursday. You've got Off the Rails Friday. And then you don't know what's going to come up on Saturday and Sunday. This show, this channel, it's all a lot of fun. Let's start off with Jason, Comics Misexplained. That was a great interview last week. If you guys missed last week's show, Jason organized that, ran it, and I just sat on the side looking like I'm driving in my car. How you doing, man?
No, thanks, man. And yeah, I appreciate it. It's awesome. I'm just happy that so many people turned out, man. It was great. It was awesome. And yeah, thanks for helping me out too with questions. He had a great time. He wants to do it again sometime. So yeah, it's really cool talking Loki with Daniel Kibblesmith. And hopefully we'll be doing more interviews hopefully here on Comic Core Unlimited. So yeah, thanks for watching, everyone. It's awesome.
And what's the record behind you tonight? Oh, can you not hear me? Jason, you all right?
It's yeah. Sorry, yeah, my internet gets cut out for some reason. I guess storms and stuff. But it's called Bongzilla. That's the band, and it's called Methods for Attaining Extreme Altitudes. But it comes in a large baggie, and it came with like incense, and it smells too. It's pretty fun. Pretty fun record.
That's epic. And then we got Mr. JD. He just got back from vacation. You sunburned at all? You doing all right?
Yeah, a little tan, but not too much. Very good time. Thank you. Glad to be back on the Unlimited. Like I said, Jason rocked it last week with that show. That was real good. Great job. I mean, that, and yeah, you're right. We have some in about 3 weeks. We're doing another. We're having an artist and creator of a comic book, Magnus of the Brave. Will be joining us, so it'll be a little bit of fun with that. But yeah, good to see everybody. You know, San Diego Comic-Con going on, trying to keep up with that for a week. I know that's going to be one of our topics.
Well, and you know, last night Golden Guys was awesome. If you guys missed the Golden Guys show last night, you should definitely check the rewind out later. And
shout out again to those Golden Guys, DS Comics and Knights of Old, and Paul from Midwest Comic Man. They did a great. They're such good. That show works because of the relationship that we all have, you know. It's really.
Well, I'd say one of my favorite parts about it is when I jump in that chat, I find a lot of people that I don't normally see in chats, right? People that have channels focusing on Golden Age or just Golden Age enthusiasts. So I find myself clicking on their names to check out their channels, and I find I'm connected into whole other groups. It's really cool.
Weird group.
Yeah, that's a huge highlight of. Yeah, that's a huge highlight of Comic Core in general. You know, it's just we'll all have our little groups, and like it brings in other different people, and then more people can meet with other people. It's such a great like community channel, and it's really cool to be a part of Comic Core. So we appreciate every one of you that are in the chat too here with us, and you know, talk to each other. It's awesome. It's a fun community.
Yep.
Speaking of which, let's shout them all out. Caleb was in there right off the bat, along with Chris Barrett and Jason, and TJ already heckling me about being late. Although I think we were on time tonight, I'd like to say. We had, let's see, Old Wolf is there. Big O is there. Bake the Snake. Let's see, Chad 90 Miles from Comics is in there.
Good.
Bear Island is in the chat. Good to see you, Adam. And I think that was all the people that I got. Make sure you hit the like button. Let people know that we're out here doing our show. Let's start with reading list. I know that JD did not get to pick up his books today. Did you take any trades? Did you read anything?
Actually, I had some flights, so I got to read a little bit of something interesting. I was reading some stories about an apartment in New York. It was a little leaflet about apartment in New York. It's a Crimers magazine, so it's one of these like something from the 70s.
Sure.
From 1974, and it's written by these guys who share an apartment, and it's Bernie Wrightson, Howard Chaykin, Walt and Louise Simonson, and it's in the early 70s, and it's what was the other one? Jim Starlin was the other one. I think Starlin, yeah, it was crazy. They were sharing a shithole apartment and saying, "You want to know why it took so long to get comics out? Because that's who we were hanging out with." And it was just a great story of guy, but it was from that era. And it's not so much the sex, drugs, and rock and roll that did go on. It was more or less the brain capacity between these people. You know how those of you that don't know, House of Secrets '92, the woman on that is Louise Simonson. That's her face. That he drew her.
That's funny.
Simonson's wife. So that's why if you ever see there's some signed books of, you know, she's known to sign a few House of Secrets '92.
That's funny.
So
that's cool.
So good.
Oh, Stephen Oates and
stuff like that.
Stephen Oates and Perry Comics are in the chat. Thanks for coming by, guys. So is that it for you, JD? You were just enjoying the sun and the fun?
Yep. Sun, fun, family, drinking.
Sounds like you're making it right. All right, then, Jason, did you get much reading in today? Oh, is he there?
Yeah. I read a good bit. One of them was really, I mean, they're all really good stuff, but I really liked. Yeah, sorry, I guess my internet's probably messing up because I'm running the internet on like 3 different devices. That's probably why it's cutting in and out. So I'll try to cut some down. But yeah, here for Detective Comics, man, I just want to show off this panel of the Joker. Just the art was so good in Detective. I was just like another level. I just really love like the colors and the detail. But yeah, Detective was really awesome. It was a fun Joker story. Action Comics has really good art. It had to deal with a new Bendis character that were introduced from last issue called I think Rose and Thorn or something like that. But she's pretty much like Typhoid Mary. She has a split personality. One person is more innocent and sweet, and then the other one's just kind of like crazy, kind of like the Punisher. You know, and she doesn't really, you know, the innocent one doesn't know what's going on when she wakes up Bruce and stuff. Doesn't know she got home. It's because someone was wilding out. But that character is more in the forefront, like all Bendis characters. When he writes stuff, it's like, here's my new character. We're just going to talk about my new character. But it was badass, though. She was really cool. She's probably my favorite Bendis creation.
Yeah. Bendis believes in, and that's a Stan Lee.
Yeah. But
Stan Lee did that. Stan Lee did that. I mean, it was exactly what it is. It's here's my character. Here's the first arc of that character. And if it goes well, you'll get more. If not, so long. You know.
Yeah, and even if it's like, if not, it's like, hey, here's more characters because I'm Bendis and I want that licensing money. It's just like so egregious and like in your face. It's just really frustrating to see his characters because most of them are bad. I don't know, but this one I actually like. I actually like this Thorn and Rose character for what a badass she is, and the art is really really cool in it too. So I recommend checking it out. But at the same time, nothing is happening with this Event Leviathan thing. They're like on issue like 5 or 6 of the story. It's just circulus. There's talk about everyone is gone. All the agencies are gone. Do you know who's gone? Do you know who Leviathan is? No. What's going on? It's the same exact thing every single issue. Still like 2 months later, 3 months later. It's crazy. But hey, good art. Batman Curse of the White Knight was really interesting. I really enjoyed Sean Gordon Murphy. I really wanted to read Batman White Knight, reread it because I really liked it the first time. But as a refresher, you know, before starting Curse of the White Knight, and only got so far. I was like, I pretty much remember everything anyways. Just jumped in, and it's good. They give you kind of a catch up, pretty much. You know, they give you to kind of catch you up right to speed. Flash 75 was good. Nice ending to that little turtle story. Justice League Dark, I just finished right before the show. That's really been awesome, but they're trying to figure out who's going to be the new Dr. Fate. So
I had a question about Justice League Dark because I heard this because in the series, you know, I've been reading everything else. It's been well received. It's actually I think it's underrated, and I don't think enough people are buying it and reading it because I do think it reminds me of the Defenders of Marvel back in the day. It's got that kind of, they're not like misfits, and they know they're not. That's not what this is about. Justice League Dark is that they're just a little more brutal.
Yeah, for sure, absolutely. They're one of the extra staff. Yeah,
they're a little more like Savage Avengers. Honestly, I'll admit it right now. Savage Avengers is a total rip on Justice League Dark.
That's a good call. That's a good point. Yeah,
how many issues in are they on Justice?
What were you going to say,
Dark?
John?
How many issues have they done on Justice League Dark?
13.
I want to pick up some
Yeah,
trades.
13 so far.
Reading that.
Yeah, the
And
first
this one was
first is a good book. It's a good book.
yeah, it's really good. I recommend it to everyone out there. It's really good. Guardians of the Galaxy was really cool too. I'm really excited for this next chapter, seeing where this church that we saw in Old Man Quill is kind of taking place. It's like, I guess they're more early days. I don't know. I guess earlier they were before. I guess in some '80s comics before, apparently. But the
who
Church
is
of
this?
Universal Truth, I think it's called.
Yeah,
Guardians of the Galaxy, the new one. Yeah,
I think I got that.
but yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah, I
the
stopped reading
book
the
of the week,
Guardians.
though, for
I
me
felt
was
I
Hickman's
felt like
House
that
of X.
first story of Guardians was just kind of mediocre, and so I kind of just
I like it.
Actually stopped after the first story.
I'm going a lot more digital now. I made that call while I was on vacay. I'm tired of all this. Can't find any of my stuff anymore.
Yeah, I mean, digital's the way to go. I feel like,
Yeah.
I don't know, especially when you buy so many books, you have so much stuff. It's like, where are you going to put things now? You can't buy every new issue that comes out and just be stuck with it, you know?
Church of the.
But yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy was awesome.
It's this issue. It's in this issue of Guardians of the Galaxy. It's an older.
Oh, it's awesome. Is that the first issue of it?
That's 8 of. It starts a new arc after Thanos is gone. This is actually, the cover is kind of a tribute to the whole series, but this is the variant throughout the entire series. There was one variant for like every so often books that had something to do with the whole storyline, and then at the end of it, the variants give you clues of what was going on. You know,
That's awesome. Yeah, and this one, it showed Star-Lord got a video from his father, and he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry for not being there for you and stuff." And then
and it's not
later
Ego
on,
in the comics. He's not.
yeah,
Yeah.
right. And when he got to like this ship of the Church of Universal Truth, they teleported in there with Lockjaw and like their whole crew, and find out like this new villain. He's in charge of this whole entire church for now. You know, he's gonna. I guess their whole goal is to raise up their lord or whatever, and he's going to be the right hand person. But he calls himself Patriarch, and in this one, he was revealed his identity, and it's his Peter Quill's dad. But he's like apparently possessed. You know, he's like possessed. He's got like eyes lit up and stuff. You know, so it's really cool, like kind of fun things happening. So it's really interesting. I still recommend Guardians of the Galaxy. I think this one might be more interesting than the last one, the last story arc. I don't know. It got my attention.
Yeah, Star-Lord's dad, if those of you that don't know in the comics, is an actual criminal. He's not a good. I mean, he's flat out. He's not. He tries. Several times he betrays him and tries to kill him. So, his own son.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's not unknown in the comics that he's a bit of a. I mean, especially in Dan Abnett's Guardian storyline, especially. Yeah,
that's awesome. My pick of the week, though, goes to House of X by Jonathan Hickman. It's really, really cool setup. This one, you pretty much see all the mutants just uniting, dude. Did you read it, John?
It's the book club book tonight, so you bet I did.
Oh, snap. Awesome. Hell yeah. I'm definitely going to check you guys talk about that, man. Oh, dude. Did you like it, though? Can you say at least a little bit for us?
I totally agree. It's the book of the week. Absolutely. Spot on.
Hell yeah. I really like those little like symbols he creates, like in all his stories. He always and he has always has like maps and things too. He's just so intense. Did you see everyone's like tweets? Just a bunch of different writers like Cates and I think Zach Thompson and a bunch of others. They're like freaking out. They're like, "This is so disappointing for me," and because it shows what a bad writer I am. I can't stand anything to Hickman. You know, there's like.
Really? Because
another level. He's a genius.
Because Zach Thomas and Donny Cates, they started that relay, and I always thought that kind of, it was good, but it's total rip on other Hickman works. I mean, that's what I said. "Oh, really? You just copied?" Yeah. I mean, it's Relay is a great book. It's Donny Cates and Zach Thompson, and it's been going on for a few. About almost a year now, and it's kind of like a Hickman East of West thing going on,
Yeah, like in Black Monday Murders, in Black Monday Murders by Hickman, as well as this, they both had these symbols, and certain things stand for certain like groups, or as this one, there's like certain flowers. The flowers do certain things. Some teleport. These do certain things for humans. They do certain things for mutants. It brings up Krakoa, their new land of like where they can reach other segments of Krakoa. It's so in depth and another level. It's exactly what I wanted to see from Hickman do with the X-Men. I'm so excited to see all the mutants gather together on the same like plane of thought, and like, yeah, you guys can't do anything to us because we're just better than you. It's so cool to see them like kind of rival humans and put humans in their place after being kicked for so long, as Cyclops said. So it's so cool. So I'm really excited to see where that's going to go. And there's a lot of hype, like in the interview book, the preview one from last week. All the interviews said, like Pepe Larraz and Hickman and all the other guys that worked in the book, all their interviews said House of X issue number 2 is their favorite. And so there's a lot of hype for it.
And that's the book that comes
We're excited for that.
In 2
so I guess
weeks.
keep an eye out for that.
Because next week is Powers of X,
2 weeks,
right?
correct.
And then it's House of X 2. Gotcha.
Yeah. Powers of 10 comes out
Hickman's
next week, and then followed by House of X. But then later on, the reading order is going to flip flop. So yeah.
Is Hickman
also Valkyrie, Jane Foster? No, good, JD. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was wondering if Hickman's House of X run, is it going to be like is it a 12 issue, 24 issue like continuation, or is it just going to be
it's
8
short. I want to say
6.
like yeah, it's like I want to say 5 or 6 or 7, something like that.
Okay, yeah, that's what I figured. Okay,
but then it's branching off into 6 different X-Men books.
Yeah,
right. That I heard too.
Yeah. I'll probably
That's
pick
right.
up all the number 1s of the new X-Men series, and then pick ones I like. I'll probably stick with New Mutants, and because that's written by Hickman, and also the regular X-Men title because that's by Hickman. So I'll probably just stick with those 2 for the most part, unless I really like how the other stories are. But I was really bummed out about that announcement too, because I just really wanted to have them just have one X-Men book from here on out by him.
Call it uncanny too.
Yeah. But I mean,
call it uncanny.
Yeah, it's a mess. I don't know. Well, we'll see how that goes, but I'm still excited for what Hickman is going to do, and he's going to stick around for years. He says so. He has a long plan. But yeah, Valkyrie, Jane Foster, number 1. That was really cool. You're holding up there, John. John, did you read? Any of you guys read that? Did you read that, JD?
Yeah, I did. I got the variant.
It's definitely on my list.
Covers, man.
I'm going tomorrow, and I think my pull list has that on it.
And JD was saying before we get started that it's basically Marvel's 2 best writers on the same comic. It's kind of unbelievable. Al Ewing and Jason Aaron. Yeah,
in my opinion. I mean, no offense to Cates. I know everybody likes Cates, but currently Aaron and Ewing, between Immortal Hulk and War of the Realms, they run Marvel writing right now. Cates has been great as the one-off, and Cullen Bunn's been great. It's filling in here and there, in my opinion. I know Hickman's back. So, I mean, we're in like a kind of like a peak moment of writing right now. So everybody pick up your writing and enjoy it. And then the art's it's getting there. I got to get
When I saw the one guy get tripped in this issue, like I knew that was Bullseye. I saw like the outline of the gloves, and like little mask. I was like, that's got to be Bullseye. And I'm like, well, why would he be here? And like, a weird kind of mix of connecting with the Thor characters, But then at the end, when it's like, oh yeah, it's a powerful Valkyrie weapon. I'm like, wow, like, and plus it gives you the power of riding a horse. It's like so cool. It's another level of Bullseye holding like a master weapon. That's gonna be really cool to see.
Yeah, the guy who makes a weapon out of anything
with a paperclip, who can kill someone with a paperclip, much less like
weapon,
right? So cool. And then back to like you said, Cullen Bunn, he does a good job here and there. He wrote Web of Venom, Funeral Pyre that came out today, and that was really good too. It dealt with Mania, yeah.
Yeah, they
it's
said
really
that
brutal.
That was the pick of the week at the comic shop. That was the pick.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
the art was really good, and it was really cool seeing Carnage go after her because she also has like powers from hell. She can summon demons and things like that too. So she brought up all these demons and all this like full force power, and then Carnage just slaughters them all like no problems. Like, oh my god, like he's just so overpowered. It's insane. I'm super excited to see him like hunt down and like slaughter all those people that have been connected to Venom in the past. This is gonna be so cool. So I'm super hyped for all this Carnage stuff.
Very good.
Yeah, well,
that's all I read. Yeah, sorry.
There's some awesome people I want to shout out in the chat. Highlight Comic Bro, Knights of Old, Bonafide Comics, Jack Yo. I don't know if I got you. Sam I Am, Ben Compton. A lot of people jumping in. We really appreciate you guys coming by to talk about what you picked up, new comics, whatever you're reading and enjoying. There's definitely some funny guys. Jason Smith, thank you for coming by. One of our moderators, Brag718. So all the books that I picked up, it sounds like Jason and I are in agreement on being good books because all 5 of mine were on his list. I do agree, and you'll hear more in detail about it, but The House of X is the book of the week. And this is coming from someone who I really only loved the X-Men during Claremont's run. Like I haven't read.
That's exactly what I am.
I haven't read any other X-Men that I felt passionate about. And I was concerned about this. I was worried about this. I was not super pumped on this. I know you all, everybody's telling me how great Hickman is. I haven't read much Hickman. All I knew was that it was X-Men, and I don't care for what is the current state of affairs for X-Men. And I will tell you, I was floored by this. So if that counts for anything, that's where I am with that. I would say my next favorite book of the week was Valkyrie. I thought this was really well done. It was fun. It was funny. And just really action-packed. I did call the villain like Jason did, but that just didn't ruin it. It kind of made it interesting, like how will this face down, right? And that's going to be playing into the storyline. That's the first story they're doing here. I finished Flash, like you were saying, the final issue in the year 1 story that Williamson was doing. I thought it ended really well, and there's actually like 3 or 4 comics in here. They're all written by Williamson, but it finishes year 1, and then he tells a little bit of a story like that connects back to where issue 69 left off. And then there's a little bit of a Year of the Villain Event Leviathan piece at the end as well. So there's lots of little stories that go along with this one. So it's a really big issue. Was it $4.99 probably? Yeah, it's a $4.99.
Yeah. Anniversary issue too. Yeah, I was a little confused at some of the stuff that happened in the stories at the end. For instance, when that one guy that was in power of I forget whatever force, did he explain those forces to the early year 1 version of Flash? That's what I think happened to catch him up to speed at an early age.
Catch him up to speed. Very funny. No, I think that was all in the previous storyline, not in the year 1 storyline.
Okay. There's some other stuff too that's off the top of my head, but yeah.
I wanted 90 Miles from Comics says he was surprised when he asked me if I was excited for Hickman. Yeah, I haven't read enough Hickman. I've had a little bit of his Fantastic Four run, but I've never been a huge FF fan, so I've never read any of that. I've never read
Secret Wars. You didn't read that Secret Wars?
I didn't love the Secret Wars storyline. I thought it was a bit of a mess. I didn't think it was really cohesive. I thought there was a lot of other I mean, I liked parts of it, but it seemed like a lot, and I didn't really care for it.
Hickman's style is very random. It's very random panels, very random movement, and you jump around a lot. But
I didn't have that problem with it. Maybe it's because when I read Secret Wars, I wasn't up on where Marvel was at that time.
Probably that was it, because a lot of it had to do with
I just read the trade. I went to my library, I saw it, and I read it. And I would like to read it again. But so for me, like my Hickman knowledge was very limited. So I went into this with a lot of skepticism. But again, I really dug it. Everybody's telling me, like Hialeah says, read East of West.
Yeah, East of West. His non-Marvel stuff is great too. But his Marvel stuff, like I want to shout out 990 MF Comics is 100% correct. His Avengers run rivals the Avengers run from the early days. His Infinity 6 books, I recommend that. It brings his Illuminati introductions, how he incorporates things. He was like bringing things together like the Russo brothers did in films. He was in comics. He was doing that for Marvel. So that's my comparison. Is Hickman's kind of like he brings things together, but he doesn't last long on any one series. East of West is his creator image book, like that. And then he did a bunch of other ones. There was one I read that I really liked. There was Manhattan Projects, which a bunch of other ones, but definitely get that stuff.
I want to read. I was talking to Alec Whitewell Comics about how every reader has their blind spots, stuff they never got, I think his big runs were when always seemed to line up when I wasn't collecting. So I just sort of missed stuff from him. And I wasn't reading indies when his East of West started, so I missed a lot of that.
Yeah, I missed all Jeff Johns.
So yeah, it's funny how those things line up.
And I've always been like, I bought a bunch of trays. I'm going to start doing that soon once I'm done with a few other things over there.
And I have heard Jason shout out Black Monday Murders a few times, and he's talking in the chat with 90 Miles from Comics about world building. And so yeah, just wanted to shout out the chat is doing a great job of being on. And clearly, I'm just not knowledgeable on this, but I've got lots of blind spots. Like Jeff Lemire, I know very little. I've only read like certain runs, so I've got my blind spots. I'm trying to fill in little by little. My reading list is epic. I would say, I guess next on my list would probably be Batman: Curse of the White Knight. Which, if somebody wants to catch up, like Jason was mentioning. On Comic Books NYC's channel, I think it was 3 weeks ago. He and I and no, not Perry. It was JP Budget Collecting. We sat down and we went through and we discussed the original Batman White Knight. We all reread it and discussed it. It was a lot of fun. It's a great story. I think it's probably my favorite of the sort of modern Batman stories.
Okay.
And I think, I like it a lot more
than post New 52.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm even earlier. Like, I think it's better than Hush.
Yeah,
sure. It's better than a lot of that modern Batman storyline stuff. I think
agreed.
If you reread Hush, and I reread Hush with those guys too, it doesn't hold up real well. The art is immaculate, but the story it's like Swiss cheese with plot holes. It's just, there's so many things you're like, why does that even happen? That doesn't make any sense.
What was the one, the Dark Knight one with it was 50 issues? I like that series. It came around. It was like mid '90s. Dark Knight. Sorry,
Legend of the Dark Knight.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Because it was like Nightscape and everything else had the little story arcs in there.
Sure.
Night was a great little 8-run set by there that was just really done. But then they never went anywhere with that. As soon as the next book in the series started. Like, would you just forget what you did? Yeah. And then Joker showed up like that,
Well, then Perry Comics.
Yeah, I think what made White Knight so good was like the real life accountability of his actions, of Batman's actions. You saw he had to go to court and people's roofs were damaged from him driving on roofs and things. And that was just a really nice, refreshing turn to see in Batman books in general, because that really wasn't a thing before until Sean Gordon Murphy, did that. So I'm really excited to see what he brings up with Curse. It's going to be cool. I think he brings up past early history of Gotham when it first started out and mixing with the Wayne family. So it's going to be really interesting.
Do you know how many issues this is? Because I will say, I didn't love the first issue, but I want to give, I trust Sean Murphy enough to give him at least a couple more before for me, it just felt really bland and more of a retread of the previous one, which I would rather just read the previous one if that's the case.
I think it's only going to be 6 issues.
Oh, then maybe I stick it out. I don't know. For me, I love the original storyline. This one just felt a little bland and it did not grab me the same way that first issue of the White Knight really did. And yes, I do need to read Black Mirror, 90 Miles from Comics. That is another blind spot.
That's so good. That's great. The art in that's amazing.
And then my last one was that Web of Venom, which I will say is probably my least favorite, but if only because I don't know this character. I went into this knowing nothing about any of these characters at all. So for me, it was just I don't know these people. I don't know what's going on. I'm just going to go along with the ride. I kind of called most of the moments this is all in her head until we see Carnage when I'm like, that's definitely not in her head. And it's a cool sequence overall. I don't know how it's going to connect, but I've generally liked the Web of Venom books that as a run. I think they're kind of interesting, but obviously I like the ones that were Carnage Born was really great and Cult of Carnage was really great. I like those two a lot more than this one. I think those were just more interesting, although they have Cult of Carnage had John Jameson, so that was thumbs up.
Little Man-Wolf never hurt John Jameson, huh?
Right. Well, so now you've got John Jameson mixed with Man-Wolf mixed with Carnage.
Yeah, that's pretty badass.
Symbiote Man-Wolf, I am in for that. I want to see.
It does sound really good because I do think the Creatures on the Loose, John Jameson, the Creatures on the Loose Man-Wolf series.
Yeah,
I recommend everybody read it.
I got a bunch of those issues. I find them in dollar bins all the time, and I buy them.
Yeah, they're good reads. I mean, it's solid. It's a good storyline, and it reminds me of. It's almost like Marvel's first 12 issues of Swamp Thing. If you really think about it, how the character kind of goes through everything. You know, what am I? The whole thing. How much man am I? You know. So.
Did you guys get a chance to read the last Carnage series that came out a couple years ago?
Yeah,
it had a Man-Wolf in it, and it was awesome.
Yeah, it was. Well, that was.
Good.
Yeah, I said the Man-Wolf in there was the best part. You know, so it's gonna be
awesome.
good.
I love at the end with that big Cthulhu creature you brought out. That was like the early version of Null.
I want to shout out Caleb for shouting out the 12 issues that the 12 issue set that House of X is going to be. And 90M of Comics, yeah, he did bring up Black Mirror. Yeah.
So it's Powers of 10 and X, and then you get 6 issues. Yeah,
Black Mirror is just kind of one of those that I you buy it for the read, and that's it. You know, buy it for the read. I kind of did not really like the artwork in it, but that's me. I was more. It was an easy read for me because I barely looked at anything going on. You know, so. But that's it. And a couple of guys in the chat, but Bear Island just read it, and another I wanted to shout out was Chad brought up some great stuff, and Sam I Am said exactly. We just keep saying the same thing, John. East of West, Black Mirror. If you're interested in Hickman, go that route, and and some talk about some Carnage and stuff like that. So good.
Yeah, I mean, for me, Hickman, there's just a lot. I know there's a lot that I need to catch up on. So slowly and surely.
You don't do anything long, so you're kind of in a good shape. Hickman's one of those guys that you can just get so much different aspects because everything's different. But like I said, he's a collaborator. He kind of brings everything together. East of West is very different from that. Anything creator-owned is very different.
Yeah, and I think that I would be curious to start off with some East of West, if only because I think I dig seeing an insight to the person. When you get into their creator-owned stuff, you get a different insight into that artist.
Yeah, East of West, I think should be narrated by Sam Elliott. It's that good,
Wow, that's high praise.
Yeah.
Let's see. Chad is in the chat. Comic Core Chad, thank you for coming by. I see Comics for Thomas and Comic Man Andy as well. They're shouting out some books they read. History of Marvel Universe #1 came out today as well. Our next segment, though, we're going to move into MCU. There were some huge info drops this weekend. I know everybody's kind of talking and specking, and the comic book market is exploding with people way overpaying for stuff. I just want to hit a note before we get into this, which is be patient. Be patient purchasers. I'm a big Jane Foster as Thor fan, but I've been collecting that for about a year now, and I have almost officially stopped because this is the wrong time to be buying. And as much as I would want to get any little books to fill my runs, they were $1 book 2 weeks ago, and they are now like $20 books now. It's stupid. Don't do it. Just wait. I promise you. Listen to JP Budget Collecting. In like 4 months, they'll be back to cover price. You get these books for cover price or under, you should not be paying $50 for these books. So just as much as we talk, enjoy this subject, don't rush out and buy.
Good point. And for those that have them, I'll be shipping mine to CGC in about 2 weeks to be shown and sold real quick. Every one of those what ifs I have of Jane Foster, I've got about a few, definitely some great candidates. The variants of the God of Thunder 25, the Thor 1, they're all going, and I'm going to go get myself a nice copy of Journey to Mystery 84, the first appearance of
Jane Foster, yeah.
Which is my lag in Journey to Mystery, actually. It's funny because 83, 85 I have, the hardest to, but 84 is one that I've held so many times I just never pulled the trigger.
Well, it's funny now that the popularity of Jane Foster is going to afford you the chance to buy it.
Exactly, because that won't go up in value because everybody's going to be like, well, that doesn't count because she's already been in the movies. I said, well, okay.
Hey,
I've heard people say, I already got, there's so much stuff right now. Comic Link is going to be tough on me the next couple of times. They've got some rare books out there, some Golden Age stuff I'm interested in, but there is a Journey 84 that, a guy I know bought on Comic Link not that long ago, and he just outbid me by a little bit. and he's trying to sell for a huge profit on the CGC side. I said, hey man, I was right behind you. You're the one. You sniped me. Let's make a deal. You know, what do you want out of my collection? Let's make a trade. You know, let's see what we got. And he's a dealer, so that's where I'm going to try to make a deal for it.
So I mean, we can get to Thor, but I thought we could go chronologically through what MCU has kind of announced. There's a lot of interesting topics to discuss because a lot of the films that people have been specking on or planning for, whether it's Black Panther 2, Guardians 3, some of those big sequels were not included in this list and left off.
Of any Adam Warlock, no mention of James Gunn,
which are some shocking kind of twists, and we got other information instead, which is sort of this the interconnection between this new Disney service with the TV series and the movies where they're going. So the first film that they announced will be coming is Black Widow. Do you guys have any thoughts about this Black Widow? And obviously we have Taskmaster guaranteed to be showing up.
I have 196 on CGC now.
Do you have any thoughts about that film and where it would be going or fitting into the story?
Some Taskmaster photos leaked today.
Mm-hmm.
Post Civil War, pre Infinity War. That's my theory because there is a long time, and we'll probably get the Budapest story. You know, we're going to get background. We're going to find out what the Budapest story is, and I think you're going to have an appearance by the Red Guardian. Her husband was the Red Guardian. I think we're going back a ways to where we're going to get more into Natasha's past, much more into the Russia stuff of what she was, and she was an assassin recruited by S.H.I.E.L.D., but she had to be imprisoned at one point. She had to be the enemy. You know, that's how they do it at S.H.I.E.L.D. most of the time. You know, that's part of the cool thing is that, you know, she had to be, you know, if you go to the Natasha background story, if you ever look at, there's a series that was done, I don't remember who was the writer, 2013. It was the first issue had just eyes and like the landscape of Moscow and then hair around it, and it formed Black Widow's face. And it was just a great arc. I mean, it was okay. It was, but that's something you could build on. And adding Taskmaster, you know, with the photographic skill that he has. If you don't know, Taskmaster's ability is he has an ability to, while if you're super strong, he can't match your strength. He can match anybody's fighting style to a T. So going up against mere mortals or not Asgardians or whatever, Hulks or whatever, if he handles himself extremely well. And actually he was a pretty good partner with Deadpool for a while on the initiative going towards the Siege series was pretty good. So Taskmaster is a great villain, and he does, you know.
Have they announced casting for Taskmaster? Have they announced any information on where they're going to do that character?
I mean, Taskmaster's face is a skull.
Right.
But if they do a background story on him, they're going to make it up. You know.
You think they're going to gender swap? I think it might be that Rachel Weisz character, actress. There's rumors it might be her as Taskmaster.
That would be cool.
That'd be good. I would go see that. I mean, I don't know if, because I think the Red Guardian appearance, the reason why I keep thinking that is it wouldn't, Natasha is not vengeful, you know? And the thing is that that's the one thing that we have to get her to where she doesn't become vengeful later on towards like Infinity War and everything else. She tells that story on the, you know, in the end game. There's a brief moment there where she says, "No, you're not. I'm more." And maybe we're gonna find out all about that stuff.
Yeah, that would be good.
Or is like they say, I have read on my ledger. You know,
so
read on my ledger.
I don't know the spec for that, but I know there have been many Black Widow miniseries you guys can check out. But I'd say, yeah, again, read, see what you like, see if there's anything you're interested in there. I'm much more interested in the second thing they're dropping, which is Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I really do dig those two characters together. I mean, the biggest laugh for me in Civil War is those two guys sitting in the back of the Volkswagen watching Captain America kiss Sharon Carter, and they're just giving him the nod, and then they're, you know, can you move your seat? He's like, no, I can't move my seat. Like, I want more of that. Like, I would legit watch
like a buddy cop movie, but with.
I almost wanted the show to be called Captains America and just give both of them a shield and give both of them the uniform, rock it together. I think I would be totally down for that. So I'm really looking forward to this, where they take this series. Do you guys have any thoughts on Falcon and Winter Soldier?
Yeah, I think it's definitely going to be like a buddy cop experience for sure. And I think at the end, we're probably going to see Falcon in a new Captain America outfit. I think towards the end, I don't think it's going to be right away. So, yeah.
Who do you think is going to be doing the tech now? That's one of the things that's going to come up, because if you think about it, it's got to be an agency that something happens after Endgame where they form an agency that does tech. And whether it's Rokon or Hammer or whoever took over Stark, or Pepper took over Stark and maybe rescues Gwyneth said she's done. So whoever took over Stark Industries, whatever goes on with that, maybe that's what you're going to need, a tech person, or black, they're not going to go to Wakanda every time they need an oil change,
Right.
Right.
So, it's just one of those things that I'm not concerned about it, because I think it's a great concept and I'm real excited for it. And the fact that it's a limited series and everything else like that, you think Ed Brubaker right off the bat. And
Old Wolf says it's Marvel's version of Tango and Cash. I freaking
look, hey, you have Jack Palance say Tango and Cash.
And then Chad, Comic Core Chad dropped the link in the chat. If you're looking for one of those cool Comic Core t-shirts, you can see Jason sporting one right now. I'm sadly off of uniform, but you got JD. He's got one of the newer ones.
I got the Paste Pot Pete one.
Paste Pot Pete.
So you can click that link. It's also usually in the Off the Rails description. You can click in there.
It's unlimited, by the way. It's the unlimited.
There's a lot of fun t-shirts. I've got 5 or 6 great ones there. There's a
My
legend.
kids got them now.
I know that the most popular one is still King John Free. You got to get a King John Free shirt.
Oh, so good. Yeah, for so good. It's
the best part about it is not, when you wear it and people don't know what it is, you can just turn around and walk away, and then they see it on the back. It's a second joke. It's just as funny the second time, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
and yeah, like everyone who buys these shirts, the money goes straight back into the comic book community. Like we're using this money to buy the tickets for Baltimore. So, and it's always going to go back to the comic book community. So, don't think you're just donating to Comic Core for no reason. It's just going right back to it. So, yeah really cool. So buy a shirt if you can.
Find that's basically funding community members to go to a Comic-Con, flying them there, putting them up, getting them passes. This is an incredible community channel, and definitely money coming straight back to audiences for sure.
Good stuff.
The next film on the list here is Eternals, which I will say I have read nothing, know nothing. I'm not running out grabbing issue 1 because for me it's like it doesn't matter to me. I will definitely be excited to see the movie, but I have zero knowledge base for this. Anybody want to fill me in?
I'm really stoked for it because going into it, I didn't know much about them, and same thing how I felt about Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm really excited to see them pull another Guardians. Make everyone love these characters. I'm excited for Salma Hayek. I'm excited for Angelina Jolie. Yeah, I'm just stoked to see new characters and see what they do in a whole entire space area. It's gonna be so cool, man.
I was a reader of Dan Abnett's Guardians of the Galaxy, so when I saw the film, I was more pleased that how that turned out than, I have it very high on my list of when I rate my Marvel movies and everybody asks why. I said, I read Doctor Strange. That's a great Doctor Strange. I read this. This is great. This is great. This is great. What is so low that other people have high? I'm like, I didn't read it and I still don't get it, but sure. I love them all, but it's not just MCU. We include the X-Men and all the other ones too. But a little bit about the Eternals. I read the Eternals of the first, I think it's 18. I think I read the first ones that run. I think I stopped after 18. Maybe there is only 18 or 16 or 18, something like that. I read it later on when I was big into the cosmic thing and going on with Micronauts was around, Rom the Space Knight, Eternals, Alpha Flight. All these things were going on. Marvel went total teams for a while, and I was buying those books. And one of the things is they introduce characters. The Eternals characters appear in different forms a couple of times. And I'm going to say, I'm not going to spec on the books. I'm going to just say what's true is. The first appearance of any Eternal is Strange Tales 109, right? I think it's 109, which is a Human Torch book, but it's the first appearance of who Angelina Jolie's going to play, Cersei. But it's spelt differently than it is when they do it later on. But it is that character. It's same power, same name. It's like Thor, Hulk. Is it really the first appearance? Everybody's saying yes because it even it's drawn the same way, you know. And in the Eternals, Salma Hayek's character, it's very different. They are the Eternals can live on a pinhead. That's their universe. Like, think of when Hank Pym or when Scott Lang was going into the, you know, they're in the quantum realm and they keep getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. That's where the Eternals can live. Okay. So I think they're going to feed off of that. So everybody's talking Ant-Man and Wasp 2. I think that's where it comes from. Quantum realm, and using the quantum realm always brought out the Eternals.
So that might be the setup for.
I think that's the setup. That's a guess. I'm guessing. I'm also speculating that they're not going to do the first generation Eternals stories. They're going to do the second and third ones, the ones that were much darker. The more dramatic, not the here I come to save the day team. Much more of the holy shit, there's a real crisis here, and they deal with it, you know. So I'm excited for Eternals. More so than I thought I would be, and it has less to do with the casting, but more and more of the names I'm hearing who they're being, and the more as it develop, as long as it's in pre-production and we start seeing things, I'm going to keep an eye on it. I kind of think it's like Guardians of the Galaxy, where it's not the first generation Guardians of the Galaxy written by, you know, in the 70s, but it's a later one, the Abnett Lanning version, or the Annihilation Conquest formation of the Guardians of the Galaxy. I think the same thing in the Eternals, where if you want to look that up, I mean, you could see look up Eternals Volume 2 and 3. I mean, it's different characters. They're different. They're not every day, but they're it's pretty good. I mean, I liked it. I love the second volume. I
definitely want to read it. I definitely want to get a little knowledge base, but I almost want to go into the film blind and then go back and check it out a little bit.
You win either way, because I know people said the same thing about Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, for sure. And Airboy Comics, Airboy the Barbarian is in the chat. He did a great video for the contest that we're doing on the Comic Core channel. You should definitely click on his name or go in the playlist. I wanted to shout out this too. The Comic Core has a playlist that Chad is slowly putting in all. I'm teasing you, Chad, not slowly, but he's putting in all the videos that people did for the Comic Core contest, so you can go and watch them. Bear Island made his video. I know that there's just lots of great ones in there you can click through and check out. Very fun stuff. Some of them are just an absolute riot. I'm going to move us into what is probably Marvel's first official Kung Fu movie, the throwback to Kung Fu, Shang-Chi, Mystery of the 10 Rings. I'm looking for, if this is not a legit Bruce Lee kind of movie, I'm going to be super disappointed.
I want to see
that. It's going to be like John Wick action, you know.
Dude, I want to see the John Wick version of Kung Fu, not bullets to the head, but fists to heads. That's what I want to see.
Exactly.
I want to go in.
This is going to be everything Iron Fist should have been.
Yes.
I want to walk out of that movie like I did in 1997 with The Matrix, or 98, whatever year that was.
That was 99.
999. Whatever the hell that was I just watched, I want to see that again. You know, I want to see that kind of effects. I want to see good. I want to see it done right. I want to see them do the villains correctly. You know,
the Mandarin. Yeah.
If it's well, here's the thing. If they're going to do the Mandarin, make him being controlled by, because Shang-Chi in the comic, his big rival is Fu Manchu. It's this whole thing going on. It's this, you got a bunch of groups going on. It's really cool. It's really badass shit. But it's written by a bunch of guys on drugs in the 70s, and they admit that. That's why it didn't make sense, Really was drawn well, and that's what I want to see on there. And Master of the Kung Fu Shang-Chi, it's going to be solid. And I'm really happy that they're doing it. I really am.
Yeah, I'm hoping that it'll be just as much fun as I would imagine those, as I remember enjoying Kung Fu movies when I was younger. So then next we have a TV series, WandaVision, which it's interesting because I don't know what they're going to base it off of. I love Tom King's Vision storyline. I'm hoping that like portions of that find their way in. Maybe
there is a WandaVision.
There's several miniseries that have, there's an 80s one and a 90s one. My hope is that instead of the Vision creating a female version of Wanda to live with, Wanda tries to recreate a vision for her husband, and then we get to see the story play out in a similar method, but like that MCU twisted version of that Tom King run, because I would be super down for that.
There's a lot of rumors where like it might be like a lot of speculation what people think the story could go or it could be. Some people say she might pull off like a House of M kind of thing where she just makes a whole bunch of fake worlds, and we'll see portions of it. We'll see like part of the Tom King Vision story. You know, them two living in a suburban thing, and maybe things just slowly get more and more messed up, or aren't correct, or messed up. You know, they slowly fall apart. And, like reality seeps in, where it's like, oh no, he's gone. Everything's messed up.
Yeah,
So
it
we
could be
very
the
well.
Avengers thing too. You know,
I
the
would
West
definitely be down for it.
line when she was they were having problems all the time. You know, when Wanda and Vision's story, it won't be a love story. I'll tell you that. It's going to be them doing things. You know, because it's just pretty intense. But we have more to talk about Wanda. So
Yeah, oh, absolutely. And I think that there's a lot to her story that I'd love to see them kind of bring in. Now, of course, I know JD is pumped for Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness. Which
we got Nightmare, we got Clea,
I love. One of my favorite '90s horror films is In the Mouth of Madness, which is
Yep.
this messed up movie that Carpenter did. And I saw that title, and instantly in my head, I'm like, oh man,
Sam Neill.
there's so much to it. Yeah, Sam Neill is so great in that.
Yep.
So, what are your thoughts on Multiverse of Madness?
Well, I assume we're going to have quite a few villain appearances. I assume Nightmare would make, because it's kind of that theme. When they said horror, this is actually going to be a horror movie. They are bringing in a horror, the team of writers and everything are getting together. And the announcement, if you listen carefully, they said, this is not going to be your standard comp. They're going horror. And which is what, if you ever read some Doctor Strange, it's pretty messed up. It gets, you know, by the, you know, hoary hordes like Hogarth, it's crazy, you know, it's nuts, you know. I'm just real excited for it. Introducing the character, bringing Wanda there makes it really interesting because there is that whole Sorcerer Supreme. He is, I mean, we're going to see Doctor Strange pull out some. I just wish he did the encampments more, you know, when he said the spell he was doing, you know. Not just, I hope you think our will is as strong as that or anything else. When he pulled out the the Crimson Bands of the Satorak on Thanos, I want him to say it, you know, because that's one of the cool things about Doctor Strange. Is, you know, always announce this stuff and put yellow gloves on him, for crying out loud.
They did it in that one clip, right?
This is the one I'm most excited
in Ragnarok.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So really cool. I'm real excited for it. I do think Nightmare.
I'd love a Mephisto, man.
Yeah,
I would love Mephisto.
Mephisto could be there for sure. The one thing that scares me is if they do the Kalu storyline, which I know that's where Mordo can come back in real easily. It gets a little different because that's the death of the Ancient One already happened. This new Sorcerer Supreme, how he continues. Because Doctor Strange has become the Sorcerer Supreme in the comics till much later on. And that up to that is his failures and his consistently narcissist. He's such a narcissist that it kind of, he thinks he can do it all. And you see it he takes Thanos on one-on-one. He's the only one who Thanos didn't beat. You know, if you think about it, Thanos, he snapped his fingers and he was gone. But he held his own one-on-one. So.
Hey, Jason, TJ has a comment that I thought I would throw to you here before we move on. And I'm running out of time. I might only be able to do the next one before you guys need to finish it out. But he says that this could be a rated R movie. Yep. Do you believe that Disney would actually release a Marvel film that was rated R? Because I have serious reservations about that. What are your thoughts?
Me too. I don't know. That'd be really cool. I think, I don't know. I have my reservations about that too. I think they're too family-friendly focused to put it on their own title. But then again, you know, it's Marvel. You know? Yeah, exactly. I mean, we hear there's going to be more Deadpool movies too. But then I guess, you know, they can put it off on another branch, not really besides Disney or you know. But I mean, I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. This is what I'm most excited for, though, just because the whole entire horror aspect of it. You know, once again, you brought up Nightmare and Mephisto are huge like villains that could very well be in this movie. I just want to be terrified and like see avant-garde weird scariness. You know, kind of almost like how you know the last Spider-Man had that weird trippy dream scene. Yeah, that's first Mephisto right there. I want that book so bad.
I had Paul Preston. I was showing it last night about the difference between foxing and mold, and this isn't mold. This is dirt. You know.
These number ones of like Taskmaster and Mephisto I've wanted forever, and like
you're gonna hate my next unboxing.
I'm also wondering with I'm also wondering with the Eternals, because you might talk about the deviants with Thanos and all that. So maybe we'll see Kid Thanos. Maybe, I don't know.
Well, the thing with Thanos and the Eternal is, he probably isn't gone. He would probably most likely appear again somewhere in the Soul Stone as a person who had the Soul Stone who never lost it.
Mhm.
He never gave it back. That's the rule of the Soul Stone. So there might be something to that. I don't know. But as far as the Eternals with that baby kid Thanos, probably growing up, yeah. Because if you remember, what was it? Was it Guardians or was it Thor where they had the first Eternals appearance is those big giant things with Ronin's style hammer swinging it in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Right. That little moment. Yeah.
That's an Eternal. I'm big shock. They're not. Well, they might live in the miniverse, but it's what they are.
Bear Island says that he believes Disney will because Disney loves money and they see money there. I personally think that they do love money, and that because they love money, they see the track record of PG-13 films generally making more money than R-rated films, and that money talks.
Yeah.
And I know that Marvel is their own entity, but at the same time, they're under that Disney umbrella. I have a hard time imagining. It's the same reason why I don't think you're going to hear a lot about where Deadpool goes from here for a while. They're really trying to figure out, can Disney effectively release an R-rated Deadpool, because they're having the same questions and doubts. And I would be surprised if it's R-rated, but I would be super happy. Don't mistake me. Like, I want the R-rated, but I see the corporate wheels moving. So I'm going to do two things before I jump out. I'm going to let you guys take over. I wanted to shout out a channel I just found that's not to 100 yet. They have 93 subscribers. They're called Exploding Earths Comics. And it's right there, so you guys can take a look at their channel. They do a weekly video where they show you the 5 books they picked up that they think are the most important books on New Comic Book Day. They've done some comments on the Justice League, on Spider-Man, some really cool stuff. Exploding Earths Comics, I think, is a really cool new channel, and I'm just starting to get into it. So just something that you guys can check out. These guys are going to take you home. We got 3 more TV series left that you guys can talk about: Loki, What If, and Hawkeye. Plus, of course, the Thor movie that's going to finish off the Marvel Cinematic Phase 4. Guys, you rock. Thank you so much. And
no problem. Thank you, John.
Next week. Oh, no, wait. I want to shout out. I'm doing a show tomorrow night with Chad 90 Miles from Comics and Perry Comics. We have forced Perry Comics to read The Immortal Hulk. He's been making fun of Immortal Hulk for years. Well, not really, for months. And now we're making him read it, and he's going to have to talk to us about it. So be there for the torture of Perry Comics tomorrow night.
Right.
John, your House of X review show, is on your channel or what else tonight?
I'm on, it's my channel. That's why I'm jumping. I'm going to fire up the thing. We'll be a little bit late, so you guys have time to finish out here.
Cool.
Okay, cool.
Thank you.
We'll see you there later, John.
Yep. Definitely see you there, 'cause that's what I want.
Something. Sorry. The Comic Core chat. Okay, I got to read a text. Okay. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye. So I want to hear what were your thoughts on, what was the last one we were talking about?
What about Loki? How about
let's
Loki?
talk about
What do you
Loki.
think of their
I like
logo?
that.
It's like the worst logo. Everyone's saying it's the worst logo. All the letters are kind of scattered, different fonts. That kind of goes to show he's going to travel through time.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I guess is. He's got this Tesseract and he's going around and it's a time travel thing. I think it's a short series. I think it's going to be good. It's Tom Hiddleston, so everybody's going to like it. Writing is going to be
so cool. Yeah, how can you not?
So, another one, I guess, the What If. I don't know. In the logo on the corner on the left, that's a zombie Captain America or a Skrull Captain America. If you look,
man, that's awesome. I haven't seen any production stuff on it. Yeah, I've only seen the title, the What If title.
So I just kind of think it's what if we have no idea. That no real.
We've heard some titles. We've heard some episodes of what they're going to do before, haven't we? I'm pretty sure they said they're going to do the Peggy Carter Captain America, and I can't remember what else, but I thought that was one of them. They said they're going to do for sure. But yeah, be cool. I mean, I love animation, and hopefully it's a good thing. I mean, we know DC can crush animation. We haven't seen a good Marvel animated movie except for Spider-Verse.
Spider-Verse
know?
was ridiculously good, though.
Yeah, that's like the only one. You know?
Ridiculously good, though. Marvel should do an animated something, and I think that's what I was talking to somebody. I said, "What would be good as a animated?" I said, "You know what? Bring back '84 Secret Wars.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Do that in the cartoon.
That'd be tight.
That would be good. It's just my opinion of it because it's like I've always wanted to see it. It's kind of like Infinity War, Infinity Gauntlet. I didn't really get that. I got something different, but I got something I liked. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, man. With animation, I want to see like as many toys as possible on the field. Yeah.
The next one before we do the Thor movie, what was the TV show? It's what if? Oh, Hawkeye.
Yeah, Hawkeye. That's right.
I don't know what they're gonna go with that. The logo though is Kate Bishop Hawkeye. I'm throwing that out.
Right. Yeah, and all the information I've read on it has said Kate Bishop. It doesn't say like the daughter of.
Yeah, I mean Kate. Kate Bishop, the dog, the pizza eating dog. It'll be good though. I mean, I do think the Kate Bishop story. It's not a bad book. I mean, there are a few of those that go when especially the first one. With the blue cover with the Hawkeye standing there, and he's like looking for new ones, and then all of a sudden he's talking to Kate, and it's a really good story. And Kate's a pretty good character. And finally, let's just talk Thor movie here. I want to shout out to the chat again. Chat Immortal, Biggie Shack, thank you very much. TJ, Peggy Carter is going to be the first one. Very good. I love how this chat always comes up and helps me out here. Airboy the Barbarian, Spider-Man and his amazing friends. That would be good. A little Firestar action and Iceman. Mortal Biggie Shack, good talking to everybody here. Really quick, we don't have to rush, but I don't think it can be rushed. Let's talk Thor 4. Or the Mighty Thor. What do they call it? Love and
Thunder.
Love and Thunder. Okay, so we've got a God of Thunder logo out there. Did you see that? All right. So we know what's going to happen. Worthy, unworthy, whatever. Jane picks up the thing. Natalie Portman's back. I'd love to see her in I don't know what. I mean, do they give her reverse what they did to Chris Evans in First Avenger? I mean,
I think so. I think we're going to see, hopefully, hopefully we see the Jane Foster that's cancer ridden and falling apart. And and then her become the powerful, regular, pretty much Natalie Portman body, I guess, and just armor. I don't know if they'll do the blackout eyes. That'd be kind of cool. But yeah, so, I think we're gonna have to see, Thor kind of go unworthy. I don't know. What do you think?
I kind of think they're going the unworthy. I kind of think they're going with the, and I'm just talking storylines before I get into the spec books, because I will talk a little bit about that, because I don't really consider them spec books. I want you guys just to know what books are what from just a little knowledge what everybody's talking about, what's going on eBay and why. If you're interested in Jane Foster, Thor, Jason Aaron and Russell Dowdman's run is the run. It's a very good read. It is an amazing story. It is a heart gut-wrenching story, but it's done really well. The books that everybody talks about, you've got Journey Mystery 84, First Appearance of Jane Foster. She's already been in there. You've got What If number 10, which is What If Jane Foster Had the Power of Mjolnir, cover by John Buscema. Social. Everybody.
That's right. Salute.
And then you've got God of Thunder number 25, and there are two variants, or at least two variants, and Alex Ross and a moral version. There's two different ones.
I just hope we eventually get an unworthy. I hope we eventually get an unworthy Thor TV show where it's just him, getting into fights on the internet, over playing Xbox or whatever. Yeah. I want to see him just relaxing.
That would be a good little side thing, like those little featurettes or something.
Yeah,
that would be cool. So out there, those, and then you got the Mighty Thor 1, volume 7. I think that would be 7. Would be Jane, probably 7 with Russell Dowdman and Jason Aaron. Again, it's everybody calls it Lady Thor or Jane, when Jane, you don't, and you'd have to know number 8 of that series is when you realize it's actually Jane Foster.
Oh man, nice.
So, yeah, no spoiler alert because we know.
Right.
So go out there and read those books. Those are there. It's pretty good. Those are the books that everybody's talking about as far as spec goes, but they are important books in general, if you ask me.
I'm really excited for that movie, though. I think the one I'm most excited for is the Doctor Strange one, just because of
Doctor Strange, Thor and Doctor Strange for me, and TV show definitely Captain the Winter Soldier, Falcon, and the Eternals. I'm more intrigued. I'm excited for everything. I will see.
Yeah, me too. A lot of people were like, "Oh, I'm kind of disappointed in Phase 4." I'm excited for all of these. Really,
Yeah,
I can't wait.
One of it. I've been a big fan of Taskmaster. I mean,
Same, dude. Yeah,
I have a Taskmaster doll. You know, I mean,
that's awesome. That's sick.
You know, I'm weird. I got Taskmaster.
I love it, dude. That's so cool.
You know, yeah, I always liked him from Avengers 195, 196, and then he was always a good rival and everything else. And there was a cartoon that was done a couple of years ago with Captain America versus Red Skull, and Red Skull hires Taskmaster, and Taskmaster and Captain America start going at it, and Red Skull betrays Taskmaster, and then Taskmaster's fighting style just completely became Red Skull's, and it was so good. You know, it was really cool. It was really just.
Taskmaster was in Deadpool versus Punisher, and he was just really funny in that, man. He was great. It was awesome. It's worth a read. Just it's so humorous. But do we know when Disney Plus is coming out? Is that November or?
Yeah, that's what the last I heard. So,
not sure. Huh? Okay.
No, November.
All right. Yeah, I was gonna say like no matter what, even if Disney shows.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I keep cutting in and out. Yeah, even if these Marvel shows weren't on Disney Plus, like I'd probably still get Disney Plus just for the Mandalorian show.
Yeah,
you know, I'm just so hyped on these like new companies.
Exactly, and DC. I'm not going to not announce DC announcing the Crisis of Infinite Earths casting of some sort with Brandon.
That's right, dude.
Linda Carter. Is this for film?
Yeah, amazing.
They are really going to do.
No, it's just for their TV show crossover. Yeah,
and it's going to be a live action.
Like
live action. Yeah. They're going to do a live action Crisis of Infinite Earths.
Crossover with exactly, dude. It's gonna be so awesome. Like I love their crossovers; they're a lot of fun. But this one, they just went balls to the wall with. Their cast is insane. I just can't wait to see like all its great actors into one room. You know, it's so cool.
Yep, very good. There's a lot of
Also, in Flash, they said that the new villain and that's going to be Bloodwork. So you know, for those people who like the spec, or whatever, go by the first Bloodwork. First appearance. It's a more recent issue too, so it should be pretty cheap. So get it while you can. I mean, news has been out for a while, so I don't know. It might be a little pricey now, but probably not as bad as it would be in the future if he gets big. You know, so
right. And the one more thing I want to do before we close out here. Also, San Diego Comic-Con. You know, everything that went on there. All the good information, everything else. There was, we talked about no mention of Guardians and no mention of. What was the other one we didn't hear?
Yeah, dude, we know they're saving that stuff for their Disney convention.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the Disney convention in October is going to be the main one.
Yes.
We're going to get that. We're going to get the Disney XCon, whatever they're going to call that thing this year. But
also, we forgot to mention Blade. You know, we're probably going to see that at the tail end of Phase 4, I think.
Okay, so I'm going to end our show because the next show can't start without us.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And so I'm going to help out John's Comics with Kids. Everybody swing over to there. Learn a bit about House of X. I hope it's better than House of M.
Oh, it's so good. Everyone go buy House of X, and we'll see you on John's channel, John's Comics with Kids.
Have a good night, everybody.
Later, guys.
Bye-bye.